Hey guys, welcome to the second annual Hunger Games. So, yeah, this is gonna be, the last video is kind of long and hard to edit, so I'm just gonna go right into it this time. So, in District 1, we have Kelsey and Mouse My Chicken. District 2 is Alexa and Kaylee. District 3 is Cooper and Nugget. District 4 is Pie and Gracie. District 5 is Peto and Piper. District 6 is Miner and Ruby. District 7 is Pocket and Cinnamon. District 8 is me and Macy. District 9 is Francis and Clover. District 10 is Duke and Daisy. District 11 is Okie and Sophie. And District 12 is Male Grass and Female Grass. Last time I did this, Male Grass won the first Hunger Games. So we're going to see if it's any different today. So, the bloodbath. As the tributes stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Peter runs away from the cornucopia. Nugget runs away from the cornucopia. Miner shoots a poisonous blow dart into Duke's neck, slowly killing him. What? Already? Oh my gosh. Pocket runs away from the cornucopia. Okie runs away from the cornucopia. Daisy takes a sickle inside the cornucopia. What the heck is a sickle? Like, honestly. Sophie runs away from the cornucopia. Kaylee runs with a lighter and some rope. Clover runs away from the cornucopia. Macy runs away from the cornucopia. Melgrass grabs a shield leaning on the cornucopia. Ruby severely injures Mouse and leaves her to die. But Mouse was like a star last time. Ruby, oh my gosh, well, Ruby was too, so. Gracie runs away from the cornucopia. Alexa runs away from the cornucopia. Francis rips a mace out of Phoenix's hands. Piper runs away from the cornucopia. Cooper runs away from the cornucopia. Kelsey runs away with a lighter and some rope. Pierce grabs a jar of fishing bait while Cinnamon gets fishing gear. And Female Grass finds a bow, some arrows, and a quiver. So, day 2. No, day 1. Day 1. Yeah, day 1. Pie runs away from Kaylee. Nugget discovers the cave. Alexa receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Gracie runs away from Macy. Daisy fishes. Kelsey and Sophie work together for the day. Miner collects fruit from a tree. Piper and Cooper split up to search for resources. Okie runs away from Peto. Clover receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Pocket receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Cinnamon is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Francis thinks about home. Male Grass constructs a shack. Ruby collects fruit from a tree. Female Grass goes hunting, and I explored the arena. So, the first night, fallen tributes. 2 cannon shots can be heard in the distance, so Duke and Mouse are dead. So, night 1. Female Grass sets up camp for the night. Piper stays awake all night. Macy and Phoenix sleep in shifts. Okie and Gracie talk about the tributes still alive. Francis and Sophie still tell stories about themselves to each other. Clover, Pie, Daisy, Kelsey, and Cinnamon sleep in shifts. Nugget lets Melgrass into her shelter. Cooper convinces Pocket not to kill him, only to kill her instead. What? That's just not right, dude. Like, honestly. Peto decapitates Kaylee and Ruby work together to drown I have no words. Day 2. Pie stalks Francis. Nugget scares Sophie off. Kaylee sprains her ankle while running away from Clover. Macy makes a slingshot. Daisy questions her sanity. Piper receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Kelsey runs away from Peto. Male Grass, Ruby, Okie, and Phoenix raid Cooper's camp while he is hunting. Gracie constructs a shack. Cinnamon searches for firewood. And Female Grass dies of dysentery! I didn't know grass could, die of, having overly pooping problems. So, after the very dramatic day, 4 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Pocket, Miner, Alexa, and Female Grass are they're dead. Okay, so, blah, blah, blah. Night 2. Piper destroys Cinnamon's supplies while she is asleep. Pie is awoken by nightmares. Cooper kills Male Grass with the hatchet. What the heck? Pedo receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Are you really going to trust her with an explosive? Like, honestly, what? There's just so many things that she could do with it. Ruby tends to Nugget's wounds. Phoenix questions her sanity. Sounds about right. Oki and Francis huddle for warmth. Kaylee receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Gracie, Kelsey, Daisy, and Clover tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. Sophie and Macy run into each other and decide to truce for the night. Proceed. Macy overhears Phoenix and Oki talking in the distance. Cooper begs for Cinnamon to kill him. She refuses, keeping Cooper alive. Pie hunts for other tributes. Piper and Ruby hunt for other tributes. Sophie receives fresh fruit from an unknown sponsor. Gracie runs away from Clover. Nugget stalks Kaylee. Kelsey makes a wooden spear. Daisy defeats Frances in a fight but spares her life. Pedo sees smoke rising in the distance but decides not to investigate. So, fallen tributes, one cannon shot can be heard in the distance. Mailgrass is gone. Night 3. Phoenix sets up camp for the night. Pedo and Piper sleep in shifts. Nugget fends Sophie, Kelsey, and Macy away from the fire. Daisy climbs a tree to rest. Cooper is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Frances sets up camp for the night. Ruby begs Cinnamon to kill her. She refuses, keeping Ruby alive. Cinnamon, you're sparing a lot of people. Oki cooks her food before putting her fire out. Clover thinks about home. Kaylee receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Pie sees a fire but stays hidden. Gracie starts a fire. Well, that's really smart, Gracie, the very insane cat. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and their life is better than your... Day 4. Pie thinks about home. Ruby attacks Cinnamon, but she manages to escape. Piper and Kelsey work together for the day. Gracie scares Oki off. Kaylee sees smoke rising in the distance, but decides not to investigate. Nugget is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Clover fishes. Macy discovers a cave. Daisy attacks Cooper, but Sophie protects him, killing Daisy. And Pedo dies from hypothermia. And I received clean water from an unknown sponsor, and Francis receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Again, why are people giving him them explosives? The two most untrustworthy people here, Peyton and Francis. So, fallen tributes. 2 cannon shots are heard in the distance, Daisy and Pedo. So, everybody's status so far is we've got Kelsey. Okay, so the people alive are Kelsey, Kaylee, Cooper and Nugget. Whoa, they're actually doing really good. Cooper is actually tied with Ruby for the most kills. District 4, Pierce and Gracie are still alive. District 5, Piper's still alive, but Peyton's dead with 1 kill. District 6, Ruby is alive. And District 8, me and Macy are alive. District 9, Francis and Clover are alive. And Oki and Sophie from District 11 are alive. Proceed! So, night 4. Phoenix questions her sanity. Pie sets up camp for the night. Ruby and Macy sleep in shifts. Sophie poisons Gracie's drinks and he's... Clover attempts to start a fire, but is unsuccessful. Cooper fends Francis, Oki, and Kelsey away from his fire. Piper tends to her wounds. Nugget lets Kaylee, into her shelter. Cinnamon cooks her food before putting her fire out. Proceed. So, night 4 was a success, and day 5. Now it's day 5. Pie overhears Nugget and Kaylee talking in the distance. Piper attacks Kaylee, but she manages to escape. Cinnamon receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Oki receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Francis makes a wooden spear. Phoenix injures herself. What the heck? Ruby defeats Sophie in a fight, but spares her life. Cooper sets an explosion off, killing Macy and Clover. Fallen tributes. 3 cannons are heard in the distance. Gracie, Macy, and Clover. May you rest in peace. Proceed! Night of 5. Piper receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Phoenix and Pie huddle for warmth. That's just really weird. Kelsey receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Cinnamon lets Sophie into her shelter. Frances defeats Nugget in a fight but spares her life. Oki fends Ruby, Cooper, and Kaylee away from her fire. Proceed. So day 6, Oki convinces Piper to not kill her, only to kill her instead. Sophie travels to higher ground. Francis hunts for other tributes. Kaylee receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Cinnamon searches for a water source. And I travel to higher ground. Pierce, Nugget, Kelsey, Cooper, and Ruby hunt for other tributes. Proceed. So Piper is dead. Goodbye. Proceed. Okay, night 6. So Cooper and Sophie talk about the tributes still alive. Nugget, Phoenix, Pierce, Kaylee, and Ruby sleep in shifts. Kelsey receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Oki tends to her wounds. Cinnamon cries herself to sleep. And Francis starts a fire. Day 7. Sophie fishes. Francis and Nugget hunt for other tributes. Cinnamon searches for firewood. Kelsey tries to sleep through the entire day. Kelsey discovers a river. Ruby and Cooper hunt for other tributes. Phoenix pushes Oki off a cliff during a knife fight. Pi receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. One cannon shot can be heard in the distance. Night 7. Kaylee passes out from exhaustion. Francis sets up camp for the night. Nugget, Ruby, Cinnamon, and Cooper sleep in shifts. Phoenix fends Pi, Kelsey, and Sophie away from her fire. Proceed. Day 8. Pi practices his archery. Kaylee and Cooper split up to search for resources. Nugget taps Ruby, but she manages to escape. Sophie practices her archery. Francis dies from thirst. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like. Phoenix tends to Kelsey's wounds. Cinnamon receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Proceed. So only one person died as usual. Francis. This is going really slow. Night 8. Phoenix goes to sleep. Sophie receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Kaylee severely slices Cinnamon with a sword. Pi receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Nugget starts a fire. Kelsey screams for help. Ruby sees fire but stays hidden. Cooper screams for help. Why would they scream for help? I have a bad feeling something's going to happen. Hunger Games. Okay. The feast. This is where it gets all crazy. The cornucopia is replenished with food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs from the tribute's families. Nugget shoots an arrow into Cooper's head? What? Sophie severely slices Phoenix with a sword. Kelsey decides not to go to the feast. Pi decides not to go to the feast. And Ruby repeatedly stabs Kaylee to death with the size. I don't know what that is, but what the heck? So day 9, Ruby and Sophie work together for the day. Kelsey defeats Pi in a fight but spares his life. Nugget searches for a water source. Night 9. Nugget cooks her food before putting her fire out. Sophie overpowers Kelsey, killing her. Ruby throws a knife into Pi's head. Day 10. Ruby shoots an arrow at Sophie but misses and kills Nugget instead. Ruby kills Sophie for a surprise! The winner is Ruby from District 6.